You know, it's short and sweet. It's definitely sort of a Pavlovian response when you hear it.
Paying homage to the old Zelda, but using a little more modern sounds.
Often creating something that's very short is much harder than creating something long and having it tell a story. That level of subtlety in sound choice at Blizzard would be completely tested internally in an alpha stage.
Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, a game that I had the fortunate privilege to work on.
It's kind of hyper reality. From your perspective, it may not sound that way, but maybe if you put a mic at the bottom of the wheels.
In my backyard, I had concrete, I had stone, I had brick, and I don't know how to skateboard. I fell off the skateboard literally hundreds of times. I still have the scar. I don't know if you can see that right there. And so when you fall off the board and you hear that, that's me actually falling off the board.
When you record VO for a game, you'll almost always need to localize that VO into other languages. So it's eFigs, English, French, Italian, German, Spanish.
The advantages of creating fake languages, anybody in the world can play it.
They only have to record this in one language.
It definitely has a structure. It seems like it has grammatical rules, a cadence to it, the tone, the inflection. Definitely an iconic choice.
Jay Wineland, I believe, made that sound, if I'm not mistaken, from Bungie.
Halo brought it to the next level, not only for video games and the way that artificial intelligence reacted within a game, but also from sound and music as well.
What expresses really well is that moment of danger with its cadence.
The integration and the implementation, and they did different pitch variations and different volume variations. They knew how important sound design was.
Power, it has energy.
Occupies a lot of the low end. That came from Glenn Stafford, and then Brian Farr added the actual magical sound design to it all.
Feels like it's maybe neutral to whatever race levels up. It's not something that that a druid would make or a shaman would make. It sits on its own level of aesthetic within WoW itself.
Valve, wonderful company. Love the sound team. They're really, really imaginative.
It's so right and it's so soft on the ears, but it just gives you that level of power. There's probably some sort of element of chorusing, which is essentially a modulation effect that's time-based.
You know, they do a character named Gladys. We were such fans of that on Pacific Rim, Gypsy, we based it off of Gladys. And that's interesting how film is now paying homage to video games, to the sound of a video game. So my guess is one of two things. A slowed down animal.
A moose or a crocodile.
Or it's a slowed down vocal.
It sounds almost like you're trying to have a human voice emulate a whale.
When it comes to punches, the important thing is the randomization.
Two pieces of wood. Whack. I take a belt, snap it.
A flat bat, whack a hanging rug.
Or a whip and hit something. You get that kind of crack.
Watermelon, like with a hammer.
To get the whoosh in, I actually shot arrows into a turkey.
Get bones and crack them.
And then I took a mallet in a frozen turkey and hit it. It's not unusual for us to either go with a sound or to put 6 or 7 sounds together to make up one punch. This is one of my favorites. I've heard it's like some guy just going, I got some vocals I'll do, and they just nailed it.
Their personalities overlap as little as possible so they can stand out on their own.
Sometimes you just want to take one note and just give it a little tremolation in the right place. That's all you need. You know, the sound on Minecraft is simple.
What an amazing game, because it makes you use your imagination in so many different ways.
When you look at Minecraft, it should never have been made.
In modern video games, there are so many sounds.
Everything has a sound, unless you don't want it to.
Within inside a video game, it's what's called an audio engine.
1,000, 2,000 sound effects.
So there's software that the sound designer uses to put all of these sounds in different banks.
It's not unusual for a gun to have 20, 40, 50 sounds.
When you're in a driving game and you hear your engine sound, and then you go into a tunnel, all of a sudden the sound changes.
1,000 to 3,000 lines of dialogue. It's big, it's huge.
What we're doing as sound designers is saying, if you're in that tunnel, then I'm going to assign this tunnel reverb, and it's going to do it in real time on the fly. Very cool.
First of all, they rent and record hundreds of cars.
So what we do in games, we attach the pitch right to the RPM.
Tires off, you put it up, 1,000 RPM, 1,500 RPM, 2,000, and you remote control it.
So if a certain car is redlining at 9,000 RPMs, I need to decide what note value is 9,000 RPMs.
We'll record the muffler, we'll record the intake valve. We have mics, and the ways of being able to get rid of the wind is our science. And we've got mics under the hood, and it's doing what they call granular slicing. It's taking little bits of each little cylinder and rearranging them. It's not Hollywood, it's a simulator.
It's never been a better time to be a sound designer in a way.
The complexity that goes into games are no longer simple.
But there's one piece of advice I can give a starting sound designer. Record everything you can.
It takes months, if not a year, to do the sound for a game.
The best sound for something could be just at a moment's notice, you have to be ready.